Hey guys, welcome back to Sunday Potluck. I'm going to be finishing off my daughter's birthday cake. So, kind of got a lot of moving compartments or moving pieces. It's tomorrow, so my cakes are completely cooled off. So let me show you how I'm gonna assemble this. Hold on. And ignore the dirty dishes because that's my life. Okay, so I'm using these cake boards, these Wilton cake boards, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but they're bent, like bent up. So instead of just using one of the boards, I'm gonna make it a little bit sturdier, and by doing that, I'm gonna flip them into each other. So now you can see that they were bent because that's how they are. And I'm gonna wrap them with aluminum foil. And then this is actually going to become my cake board. So I'm going to get it as straight as I can. And I don't know how any tape, but that's not going to matter for right now. So I'm going to do the same thing. Take a piece of this and then go the other way. So in planning Little Miss's birthday, I didn't really plan it. I didn't really, well, as you can tell, I didn't really plan it. I should have taped the boards together. Hold on, let me see if I can find some tape. All right, you use what you got, right? So, I'm gonna be using this like craft tape. Not ideal, but it works. So all I'm gonna do is tape that side. Try to make sure that they're squared up. Before I tape it. That would be the best. They're not, they're a little bit off, but I think it'll be okay. I didn't plan very well in doing this. I wasn't gonna do a birthday party for, I know, I'm a sad mom, but she's 2, she's not gonna know. But then I got to thinking, nah, I need to do a party. So, last year she was 1 and a melon. And so this year we're going to taco about her being 2. So, which I thought was kind of cute, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm a dog again. He's barking all day. It is early in the morning. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I've not had my coffee this morning, so my throat is not lubricated, and you know. But oh well, whatever. I had to run to the store because I forgot piping bags too. So I'm the mother of the year today. All right, so I did the 2 round cakes last night. Made the 2 round cakes, and they are sitting over here. They're completely cooled off because I made them last night and just let them sit out. Usually, I'll make them and let them sit for a few hours, you know, till they're completely cool. And then I'll go ahead and decorate them that day. But I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna decorate them today. Which yesterday I thought I'm just gonna decorate them tomorrow. Okay, so that's a little bit more sturdy in my book. It's not as pretty, but that's okay too. So I'm gonna set this over. And I'm going to show you what I've got. So these are my 2 cakes, and I put them on a cooling rack so they got zebras on them. And I'm thinking about I was thinking about just doing 2 tacos, but I had the idea of, and this is the way I'm going to do it. So I'm just going to cut straight down the middle of this. And I've seen a couple of videos, or not videos, but like ideas or suggestions or whatever. And I don't know that I liked them completely. And so, because they didn't really look like, I mean, it looked like a cake that was made into tacos, so, which is fine. But I didn't like it for what I wanted to do. So I don't know if you can see or not, but this is kind of what I'm going for. You know, make it look like it's tacos on a plate, right? But they don't really turn over that way. So what I'm going to do, set my tacos up like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just shave. And this is the part that usually my husband does, because he's the art guy and he can do this a lot better than I can. But I'm just gonna, and I usually use a bread knife, but my bread knife's dirty, so I'm not using my bread knife. And I didn't want to wash it, so we're doing this. So I'm just gonna kind of, I don't know if y'all can see that, I'm just kind of cutting it at an angle, so it looks more like a taco, because you know tacos have that slanted appearance. You know, they just kind of go down. So we're just taking off some of this cake right here and making it more taco shape. So that's more of a look of a taco, right? I think. So, so you just kind of have to trim it until you think that that's what your taco should look like. And then save these pieces over here, because you never know what you're going to need them for. But I think that looks more like a taco. It feels more like a taco doing it this way. So I'm going to keep doing these, and then we'll get to making the icing, and I'll show you how I do that. So I don't know if you can see the way that these are laying, but they're laying more like tacos would lay, because they're more in the shape of a taco. So I'm gonna put my cake scraps in my bowl, because we may or may not use those later. So I'm just gonna put those over there. If we don't use them later, they will be eaten, because my kids can't go 2 seconds without eating cake crumbs if they're available. So get this cleaned off just a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna set these back over here on my rack until I'm ready to start assembling my tacos. So what I'm doing is, and I'm gonna use my mixer bowl for this. Now, I'm doing American Buttercream. And if you don't know what American Buttercream is shortening instead of butter. So it's really hot. It's the middle of July. And if I want a melted cake, I would use butter. I don't want a melted cake, so we're doing this. And I've done this several times, and most people can't even tell that it's shortening. As a matter of fact, nobody has ever complained that it tastes like shortening or anything like that. The hard part is measuring it, because at least with this clear glass I can see, or clear cup, I can see that it's not going all the way down in there. So the hard part is getting it, you can even see what I'm doing, is getting it down in and getting a full cup. So whoops, because you can't really, so we're just going to guesstimate that that's a full cup, or that's a half a cup. And then I'm going to use a full cup of I use Crisco, just because that's what I use. I think. Yeah, it's Crisco. So I'll just do this. And then it calls for a cup of Crisco, a bag of powdered sugar, which is 2 pounds of powdered sugar. And I will let y'all in on my secret flavoring wise. So I like caramel, and especially with a chocolate cake, but with this, any cake, it works. If you go and you get coffee flavoring from the in the coffee aisle, like whatever flavoring you like, if you like French vanilla, and that's what I started out with, doing French vanilla, but one time they didn't have French vanilla, and so I was like, there was Carmel Macchiato, and I'm probably saying that wrong, but I was like, hey, I like caramel, I'll try that and see what that tastes like. And then from then on, that was my go-to flavoring, was Carmel Macchiato. So so what I do is most of the time I get the powdered stuff, just because it has more, you can make, it's more concentrated because you don't have to put as much water in it to add to the stuff. So if that makes sense. So like if you use the liquid, you have to add more to it, and so it makes the icing runnier. But if you use the powder, then you can put less water in with the powder and still get it mixed up pretty good, and then it's more flavor with less liquid, if that makes sense. But I totally forgot to get any of that yesterday when I went to the store to get the cake stuff, and totally forgot to get any of it today. So, and normally we have Carmel Macchiato in our house, but we ran out, and my husband picked up this, so I'm going to try this. It's just vanilla caramel, and I've actually got some of this salted caramel coffee flavoring to put in it if it's not caramely enough. So, or if I don't like the taste of it, we'll just, but it's a kid's birthday party, so they're not really going to care. So, the cake is cake. But this is how I do my icing. So, I just dump the whole thing of powdered sugar in there. I know, for shame. But I do have extra powdered sugar. And normally, if I don't have another bag of powdered sugar, I'll hold probably a third of it behind, just in case I get too much liquid in, because I don't measure the liquid. I just put it in there and let it do its thing. So if it gets a little too runny, I can add more powdered sugar to it. If it's not runny enough, I can add some liquid. So we're just gonna pour this straight in here, and I'm just gonna, I have no idea how much that is, just pour it in there. I'm gonna sit it on the mixer, let it mix up, and then I'll adjust either adding powdered sugar or liquid, whichever I need to do, and then I'll wait till the end to put the salted caramel stuff in. So I'm gonna go mix this up. Guys, so I've been whipping this or stirring it about, I don't know, 5 to 8, 10 minutes. So what you're gonna wanna do is make sure that it'll, if you're not covering your cake with fondant, then for it to be really smooth, that's, you know, what you're wanting. If you're covering it fondant, you kind of, I mean, you want it smooth, but not all of the air bubbles go out. But I just kind of mix it up until it's, you know, that kind of consistency. It's spreadable, but it's still, it won't leave, I don't know if you can even see that, but it won't leave a ton of air holes or anything like that. So let's get this off of here. And so that's my icing. So I'm going to set this over for just a little bit, and we'll come back to it. Because what I'm going to do now is, because I'm going to make, I'm going to cover it with fondant. And it probably could do it without covering it with fondant. No, I'm trying to think. Do I want to do fondant or... You know what? I'm kind of thinking that I don't want to do the fondant. But here's, I got a chip because that's my, what I'm going for. Because that's what taco shells look like. So, decisions. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Y'all are having to listen to me think, and that's difficult to do. So, if I cover it with fondant, it'll be easier to do, but then I gotta color it and my hands turn orange. Yeah, let's do fondant. Oh, I gotta find my fondant rolling pin. I'll be right back. Got my rolling pin, and it's warped, so it'll be fun. So I'm gonna time lapse this because this is the most tedious, crazy part of the whole thing. And that's why my wrist hurt, because I've done that way too many times. Sometimes I make my own fondant. Sometimes I just buy the store-bought fondant. So, this is Wilton Gel Color. And I kind of tried to match what the color of the chip would be. And then just kind of put some on there. And then you guys mix it up and see how that goes. And then just keep mixing until you get the right color that you're wanting. The gel color doesn't make the fondant sticky like the liquid gel color or liquid food coloring would. So that's why I like it. And it's also a little bit more truer to the color. So I'm hoping this doesn't turn out too yellow, but more of a goldy yellow. So, and it looks like it is. And this is cornstarch. You can use powdered sugar on this if you like, but cornstarch works just as well. And I had my cornstarch already out, so from making the cake. And if you haven't seen that video, there's I'll put a link to that the cake video. I ran out of cake flour, and so I had to make my own cake flour. And so I used cornstarch when you're making your own cake flour. So I made the cakes last night, and today I'm decorating. So that's a good base, but it needs to be more orangey, or more, I guess more orangey. I don't know what color that would be. More not yellow. This is more of a yellow color, but this would actually work if I'm doing like a cartoony taco, and I might do cartoony. Instead of a realistic, because it's not going to be realistic looking no matter what I do. I don't want to add red to it. I'll add a little bit more of this to it and see what that does. And then I'll add a little bit of creamy peach to it. And I might actually have, yeah, I've got like a, you know what, I actually might add just a little bit of orange to it. It's the only thing I hate about food coloring is and mixing it up with your hands like this, because it gets all over your hands. And then it's all over your hands. So I'll just add just a very, very small amount of orange to that. And then we'll see what we get, what color we get from that. I mean, I'm hoping that it's a good color. The good thing is that if it's not, then I can fall back and punt and just use icing instead of fondant. So, but yeah, doing this for 6 years, I think almost close to 10 years, I made cakes. This is why my wrists are not very good wrist. So, takes a lot out of you. Okay, so that is more of the color that I'm going for. So I think I'm gonna be happy. I'm just gonna call this good and be happy with this color that I got. So I'm just gonna try to mix it in because I still have a little bit of streaks. But if you look at like a regular taco shell or a chip, you're gonna have some discoloration in there. So I'm not too worried about it. Let me clean up some of this mess and then we'll get back to it. Okay, so I've got this kind of sort of cleaned up over here, and I'm kind of just flattening it out as best I can with my hands, just to save a little bit of time. I'm thinking that I'm going to, depending on how much I can get out of here, I don't know if I can cover all of the cake. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of powder down, put some powder on my rolling pin, and we'll just start rolling this out. My thinking was that I would put the fondant on both sides of the cake. That way I could basically pick up the cake if I wanted to, and not have cake. Does that make sense? Like make it a full, like make it a real taco shell, real looking taco shell. But I've got to make 4 of these. So I don't know if that's going to actually be feasible, because I kind of want them to be a little bit thick so that they'll have some substance to them, but I don't want them so thick that they won't stand, so if that makes sense. I don't want them to, fall over, obviously. So I know that's going to be big enough. This is going to be big enough to make 1 if I did it, cover the whole taco. It would be big enough to I could probably get 2 out of this if I did just the top and the bottom, which I forgot about the bottom. So and I'm just kind of pulling it and stretching it as I'm doing that, as I'm going around in a circle. It kind of smooths it out, and it helps to stretch it with it not tearing. And I'm pressing and doing it all at the same time. Okay, so if you are a stay-at-home mom or just a mom and not a baker or decorator, I just want to encourage you right now to make your baby a birthday cake. They do not care what it looks like. It doesn't have to be, super amazing. They are going to love it, and they are going to think you are super amazing because you're a mom, and moms are super amazing. If you're a dad, make your baby a cake. Make your wife a cake. But this is so easy. This is not hard to do at all. It's easy. So I want to encourage you, just go for it. So that's my taco. I think this is a good taco shape. So I'm going to use my dirty cake pan because I didn't do dishes last night, and that's what my cake came out of. So I'm going to use my cake pan to kind of make a taco shell. So I'm just going to cut around, and what I'm doing is I'm just kind of cutting around the taco. Oh, I was going to put this on parchment paper or something so it would be easier to come up, but it was fairly easy to come up off that. So hold your pan down so it doesn't slide on you. But as you're cutting the taco shell, I'm kind of pushing it off, especially back over on this side where there's not a whole bunch. And I'm just kind of doing it like that. So made my own taco. Made your own taco shell. And this is not a super sharp knife, so it's not doing anything to my bar. But that is perfect, y'all. That's my taco shell. So it looks like a taco shell, right? I mean, I'd eat it. So it is a little thick, but that's okay. That's good. That's what I kind of want. And I'm just going to kind of spread it out just a little bit so it's a little bit bigger than my cake. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to make it be that much more awesome. So I am going to put this on wax paper because it will, fondant will dry out. Well, I think I'm going to put it on wax paper. Fondant will dry out a little bit. So if you put it on wax paper and cover it up with wax paper, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cover this up like that, and then I'll add another taco shell to it, and then just continue to stack taco shells until I have 4 taco shells. So I'm going to go, just like you do with the cookies, go to the furthest you can possibly go. Go to the furthest you can possibly go so that you can utilize all of your dough. So I'm going to put just a little mark there to see where that comes to. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one, and then I'll come back and roll up my taco shell, or my fondant taco shell, my fondant, and I will just roll it up and make another one. And I got some cake bits on this, so I need to make sure I wipe it off. And I'm not going, it's not a complete circle, but I can make sure that one's on the bottom, and it's not going to be a big deal at all. So I'm going to brush that off. So because I know that this other shell is not going to fit there, and this isn't perfectly round, but that's okay because tacos aren't perfectly round either, right? And I might just make this one, might see if I can roll this out and make it thinner to kind of force it to, you know what, I think that could just be the, so I'm gonna do, this one can just be the, no, I'll roll it back up. So now it's just a matter of getting it back. It's kind of like cutting biscuits or cookies. You just kind of have to get it back to a flat consistency and it takes a while, especially since it's been laying out and drying just a little bit, but it's not impossible to do. So we're just gonna, oh, and it's getting sticky, so cornstarch to the rescue. Cornstarch your hands, and then that'll help it as well. So I'm just gonna roll these last two out, and then I'll be right back.